Well, I just got back from doing a talk this afternoon, a talk and demonstration, which I didn't know I was going to do. I was called this morning and asked if I would do it because the actual speaker wasn't able to. And I agreed that I would. I quite enjoyed it actually, and had some good evidence come through. And I was really very pleased that my first communicator just referred to herself by name. They don't always. I normally just see them and I have to describe them and their condition. But just first of all, look at this. This is what I wore. These are Doc Martens shoes from the 70s, and aren't they in really good condition? They're black, green and navy, but very dark, and went with my outfit, which as you can see is this waistcoat and tie set. Now the material is a material I found and really liked, and it was made by Jan for me from her own company called Waistcoats Unlimited, and she will turn waistcoats material into waistcoats for me, as well as she has loads of her own ready-mades, or she'll make them from her own material. You can see her on the internet, Waistcoats Unlimited, if you're interested. Anyhow, the first communicator told me her name was Kate, and I saw her in a wheelchair and with a body that was clearly not working and that degenerated until she passed. I didn't know what it was that she passed with, but I was able to describe her and her age and whatever, and anyway she was accepted by somebody in the congregation at the back, and so she got her little message on what she wanted to say, and strangely enough I started talking about my best friend when I was talking about Kate, and I was describing my best friend's personality. And I quite often do this. I think I'm starting to talk waffle. And in fact, my best friend Dawn and this Kate had an awful lot in common, not just the disease. My best friend Dawn has got multiple sclerosis. And anyway, their personalities, it seems, were very much alike. Except Kate was only in her 40s when she passed away, or rather left her physical body. It seems silly, passed away, didn't pass away. Well, it's up to you, whatever you think. And, you know, if all this is just luck, and it's just a lucky guess, well, I would think, fuck, I'm very good at guessing then, aren't I? But rather disappointingly for me, I found it exhausting, and in fact actually the person who asked me to speak said to me that they'd never really noticed before, but when I'd finished they saw me sort of like deflate, you know, and that's exactly how I felt, just completely shattered. Which is why I don't do this anymore, as a general rule. There are two places I take bookings for, because I really like them and they're close by. And there's another place which is a bit further away, about 50 miles away, which I will take bookings, cancellations, if I feel alright on the day that they call. But there we are. I can't do that anymore, really. And I suppose I do feel somewhat better about it now that I do these videos. You know, partly I waffle on when I do these videos, and other times I pass on the stuff that I've learned, and hopefully it's going to help somebody out there. And from what I'm led to believe by the people who write to me, you wouldn't believe the amazing emails I get. Oh, I get the nasty ones too, but I've become very good at speed reading, and I can tell the nasty ones within the first sentence. Well, not even that, usually within the first words. Or I don't even consciously read the first words. It's like I've suddenly skimmed the whole email and it just says email nasty, and I delete it, you know, without even knowing who it was from. I just delete it. I used to read them and get really upset about it and think, how could people be so mean? How could people be so cruel? How could people be so wrong? I'm a wonderful person. How could they possibly say otherwise? But they weren't emails that were basically saying, oh, I don't think you're wonderful. They were really vile things. I mean, I've had people say things like, oh, enjoy your holiday. I hope somebody pushes you over the cliff in your wheelchair. And stuff like that. And usually very religious people are the ones that write this sort of stuff. And other people who say that I will rot in hell forever. And they will take great enjoyment from that. However, I choose to ignore them and delete them. Sometimes I get caught short, and sometimes I'm stupid, and I'll fire off a reply, which I really shouldn't do. But sometimes I do because I'm human, and then I regret it, and I think, oh dear, I shouldn't have done that. Just don't give them the satisfaction. I really cannot abide people who are, unless they're their owner, and I'm not talking about the owner, I'm talking about anybody who happens to belong to an email list, be it a knitting list, a dog list, a cat list, a bloody teddy bear list, whatever the email list is. These people who suddenly will write in and say, would you please stop talking about this, whatever it happens to be, either because people are arguing or they're talking about something that isn't specifically about the topic of the email list. And I think, how dare you? How arrogant of you. Who the hell are you? They never see it like that. They never think that it's, oh, maybe it's not my place to tell 10,000 people what they can and cannot talk about. And some lists are run, they're not very pleasurable, and they run like Little Miss Hitler's. And they have very low traffic. And it makes you wonder why. I wonder why. Well, because there's people get fed up of being jumped upon. But yes, or these people that think that they have the right to tell you what you should do. And one of the things I really do find irritating, and I am aware that the motive usually is kindness, so it makes it even more difficult to sort of moan about it, really. But I get sent the most wonderful cures for my health, and it just really irritates me, because I think, how can you be so gullible? And in a way I am offended, because these sort of people, I mean, I'm intelligent, but these sort of people give false hope to others. Did you know, for instance, that if I didn't drink Diet Pepsi, because I prefer Pepsi to Coke, but the email that goes around is about Coke, but basically Diet Coke has been blamed for every illness known to man. And there are people who have written to me and said, do you, or, you know, aspartame or aspartame, however you say the bloody thing, the artificial sweetener, which I think is brilliant. I never used to have artificial sweetener in anything because I hated it, because it used to be saccharin, and that was foul stuff. And then a few years ago I was very, very thirsty at a dog show, and I was also in a lot of pain, and I needed to go, I'd run out of drink, and I needed to go and get some water, and I asked somebody, Sue, where can I buy a drink from around here? Because it was a showground I'd never been to before, it was Border Union. And anyway, she said, oh, it's way over there, and I thought, oh God, I really don't want to go way over there. She said, but I got a Diet Coke if you want. And you know, I was so thirsty and so desperate, I thought, oh well, I can always hold my nose and drink it. Well, I opened it, and I took a gobful, and I thought, oh, this is nice. And I looked at the tin, and it didn't have saccharin in it. It had this thing called aspartame, or aspartame, or whatever. And Escaflame K, I know I haven't said that right, but anyway. And I thought, oh, this is nice. And very typically of me, I then immediately went home and I bought 500 cans and drank them. I do tend to overdo things. But anyway, to cut a long story short, the amount of emails I've had from people, and from people I thought were more clever, that basically said if I didn't drink this stuff, I would be cured. And I think, oh, really? Then how come I was so ill before I started to drink the stuff? Huh? I mean, they say terrible things like, it cures multiple sclerosis. Oh, and I know it's true because my wife had multiple sclerosis, and as soon as she stopped drinking anything with that aspartame in it, she got well. Coke must be bad for you because if you leave a tooth in it overnight, it'll disappear. Yeah, that's because the fucking tooth fairy took it, you twat. I've gone and spoiled it, I swore. I do try not to. But, well, I don't think I'm really going to say anything else because I am tired. And you'll probably be very pleased to know that this is going to be short. But no, I'm afraid I believe in the doctors and modern pharmacology. And I'm truly grateful for it. Do you know, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, I guess is what that stands for, NSAIDs, I can't take. Nope, they would kill me. One, because I've had an ulcer, and two, because I have heart disease, and they aren't good for you. Mind you, it's not just that. They're not good for anybody. They can cause your kidneys to fail. And they actually can cause heart problems and blood problems and cause strokes and all sorts of things. You know, there you are, popping your interferon. Not interferon. Ibuprofen. Not a lot of difference. And aspirin and all that sort of thing. Well, they're bad for you. They really are. And I said it's not just bad for me, it's bad for a lot of people, but it is particularly bad for me. And, well, of course, the other alternative is steroids. Well, I won't take steroids, and my doctor offered me them a week or so ago, and I said, no thank you, I'm not taking steroids. Purely for vanity reasons. I know what steroids do to you, but no thanks. Plus, they're just not good for you anyway, unless you really, really have to. And there might come a time, but I don't want them. But I take tramadol. Now, morphine I know is an old drug, but I don't know if morphine sulfate is a new derivative or what, but maybe that's been around a long time. But tramadol hasn't. Rosuvastatin hasn't. And I'm not sure that amitriptyline has. But whatever. You know, 20 years ago, my prognosis would not be good as regards pain relief. Imagine if I was in the 60s. Imagine what I'd be like then. Well, I'd be housebound for a start. So there's an awful lot to be grateful for. And anyway, that's me for today. I mean, I could prattle on, but I'm not going to. And I can't think of anything funny to say, and I can't think of anything particularly witty to say. I can't think of anything much. So, I'm hoping to go for my swim in the morning, but we'll wait and see. Oh, I get my new wheelchair this week at some point. Don't know when, but I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, and I've got a dog show next weekend. I'm looking forward to that too. Pussy is at her first show. Mary Grace, of course, is going. But this will be the first show for Pussy, and I'm quite looking forward to that. She's a lovely thing. She's so full of herself. Cheeky little madam. But she knows what it's about. She knows how to strut. So, anyway, bye.